set xe, and we're going to be using Clang because that's the only C compiler that I know that can produce WebAssembly. And we'll have to do something like index wasm index C. So one of the important things we'll have to enable, right? So I want to optimize everything by size, right? So I want to produce the smallest thing possible. Also, I want to disable all of the built-in optimizations. So essentially, built-in optimizations replace certain well-known patterns with intrinsic calls, right? So for instance, if you have, I don't know, if you have the following code where you have size of something, right, and then you have a pointer to a particular memory, right, and then you do the following thing where you, while n is less than 0, you do something like pointer plus plus equals 0, right? So the compiler can actually recognize this pattern and realize that what you're trying to do in here is essentially memset pointer 0n, right? So that's what you're trying to do. And it will literally replace this code with a call to memset. Yes. But what's interesting is that if you're not linking with a standard library as we do that in here, right? So we do no std library, it will fail with a link error, right? Because that thing is only available in a standard library, but you know, you're not linking with that. So that's why you have to say no built-in, so the compiler will not try to do this kind of optimization. I wonder if we can actually trigger this kind of optimization. So let me actually do that, maybe with Godbolt, because I already had that situation quite often. Godbolt. So the compile explorer. Interesting. It is interesting. So, and this is something that, for example, embedded developers face quite often, right? So they always have this kind of situation. Okay, so we have some stuff in here. So maybe I'm gonna just like disable this thing. So I don't know. So if I accept some sort of a pointer in here, right, and then maybe in here I don't even want to return anything, but one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to create size n equal 100, right, and while n minus like this, right, what I'm going to do is essentially pointer plus plus equals 0. Will that actually just call to the standard library? So you don't have a size t, so maybe because of that I'm going to do integer. So the compilation failed. Well, this one has to be something like character, sure. Okay, so as you can see, it didn't really optimize anything, and this is because we said no optimizations, right? So if I start increasing the optimization level, will it then... okay, so that is funny. Since it knows the size of this entire thing, it basically optimized it out to like a... Okay, so what about 1000? If I do 1000, okay, so as you can see, it actually straight up called to memset. Told you, the compiler is so smart. It recognized your intent. It literally recognized your intent and replaced the whole intent with a call to memset. But again, if you're not linking with a standard library, memset is not going to be present. So we can actually try to do something like that in here. So what if I put this stuff like this? Is it going to fail? Well, it's not going to fail, but yeah. Right. So, and if we do fno built-in, right, it does not call to memset anymore, right? So it basically compiled the loop appropriately. So that's why you need this flag. Right, if you're gonna do this sort of like low-level stuff where you're not linking with a standard library and you're implementing your own things, you might want to do that, for instance, for you know, WebAssembly stuff. If you want to produce like a very small WebAssembly file, I'm not saying that you always have to do that. It's just like something that I do, and if you want to do that as well, you may want to consider using these kind of flags, especially if you're using Clang, right? So.